Hey guys, it's Christian. Welcome back to my channel. Just like last semester, I'm going to be doing this reflection video, which basically outlines my whole experience at Spelman. I'm going to do a second semester reflection and then just an overall my freshman year at Spelman. I think a lot of you have noticed that there was just a whole different attitude towards the semester. I will say that I really started to get into the nitty-gritty of college second semester. I really wasn't as motivated and I wasn't reaching the goals that I had set for myself. Versus last semester, I did really well and I was just happier. I think the best way that I can explain it is that I didn't have one consistent feeling. Like I wasn't just overwhelmingly happy to be there, and as I mentioned, I was very stressed out to the point that I actually was sick. I'm just really happy that I stuck it out. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. In terms of my academics, second semester really was a different situation. I did have a lot more challenging classes versus last semester, and I would say that my most difficult class this semester was computer science. And a lot of people would ask me, why are you taking computer science if you're a bio major? It was an ass Spelman situation. I was already really worried about that class, and I think I mentioned in another video that I wasn't even signed up originally. That was just a class that it didn't seem to matter how hard I worked and how much effort I put into the assignments. I was just never where I needed to be. In terms of classes regarding my major, I took Bio 115 for second semester. It was just completely different than Bio 110. Bio 110 was just like an introduction to the major. It was not very difficult at all. Bio 115 kind of set the tone for what I should be expecting in the future. I learned that I would be having to teach myself. I was really shocked. I was like, wow, I'm really doing a lot. Like, I didn't really like that. I'm just like, okay, what's the point of me paying all this money, spending 2.5 hours in this class? But I realized that that's just college. None of my other classes really stood out to me as much as those two classes, and I actually did pretty well in those other classes, so that's why I'm not too pressed to talk about them. In terms of my final grades, I have all of them except one, which is ADW. I know my grade in that class. I know I got a high A, but just overall, I did get A's. I got 2 B's this semester. Like I said, I've kind of lowered my standards just because I knew that this semester wasn't gonna be it. It's just this weird feeling of acceptance, but also knowing that I could do so much better. I will say that I did have a major crisis, and I mean like a crisis regarding my major. There was one day where I was just pretty much determined to change my major to psychology. I was just not feeling this bio major at all. The reason I was gonna switch to psychology and not just any other major is because I do want to go to medical school. I made that decision not too long ago when I realized that I'm really passionate about women's health and the whole maternal mortality crisis here in the United States. There are 3 top majors that medical schools tend to accept, and of course that's biology, chemistry, and psychology. And I didn't choose that major because I thought that it would be easier. My thought process was that if majoring in psychology could get me to the same place that I want to be, then like why not do it? And I'm just in a very special situation where I have a lot more room in my schedule to do it, where I'm not too worried about having to spend a whole nother year in college. So I'm somewhere in between just like sticking it out, and then I'm somewhere else thinking that either way, I'm going to be able to possibly get into medical school. We'll honestly see where my mindset is at the end of this summer. I'm a very organized person. I've actually really thought it out, and I've already kind of started writing a schedule should I switch to psychology by next semester. I kind of touched on this a little bit in the intro, but the next thing I have written down is feelings. So I remember the video I posted when I first got back to campus at the beginning of second semester. I could just tell that wasn't it. Like, I just was not happy to be back. I just remember reading tweets of people like, I can't wait to get back to my college friends, and I just remember not feeling that way. Like, I was really sad when my parents left. I was like, okay, now what? I just wasn't looking forward to the next couple months. I really didn't know how to feel. I was just like, why am I feeling so sad? And it wasn't like I wasn't coming back to anybody on campus. Like, I did have friends. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling ecstatic to be back. When you're coming back back to college, you don't have to look forward to the classes, but you look forward to the environment and the people. I just wasn't feeling that. I did have days where I felt better than others, and then there were other days where like I couldn't leave my room. I felt like I couldn't leave my room. And that's why I was really excited to become a wisdom scholar. I'm just really looking forward and hopeful for the bonds that are going to happen. I did do a social media hiatus for second semester, and it lasted me a good 1 to 2 months. That was just a really big eye-opener of how I spent my time and how I could be spending my time. And I suggest that everybody do that when they're feeling like they're too engaged in what other people are doing. I wrote down that I went home a lot this semester compared to last. If y'all don't know, I live in Georgia, so it's really easy for me to go home if I need to. I will say a big reason that I came home more frequently this semester is because I didn't do laundry at Spelman and HH's dorm. That's a really big dorm, and there were only like 4 washers and dryers, and I would just read in the group chat how girls were like ignoring the grace period, touching other people's clothes, taking them out, leaving them sitting out, and I was just like, I'm not gonna deal with that. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take advantage of this short distance and go home every 2 weeks to do my laundry. It progressed from doing laundry to just not wanting to be at Spelman. There were just weekends where I would call my parents and I would just be like, I'm coming home. And it was just really nice to have those weekends to spend time with my family. It went from being about clothes to just being about me and restoring my mental before going through a whole nother week of school. Spending that time here made me realize how grateful I was to be in state and so close to home. Second semester taught me how to pray. Second semester taught me how sometimes you just have to give it up to God. It wasn't just a me thing. Like, I think all across the board, everybody was just going through something and they just needed prayer and strength and courage and motivation to wake up every morning and go to class. I don't know where I would be if I would have just relied on myself and my own strength and my own motivation, because I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. I was also in a whole relationship my whole year at Spelman. Like, that's just a different experience in and of itself, because first you're dealing with being a student and trying to stay on top of your stuff, but then you're also dealing with a whole nother human being who you have to be considerate of and make time for. I mentioned this in another video, like, just don't go looking for stuff like that, because mine happened so unexpectedly. I was not expecting to come to Spelman and to have a little more house boyfriend and have the whole spell house love experience. That just was not in my plan, but it happened and I learned so much from it. Anybody who finds themselves in a relationship during their freshman year of college, I would say that you definitely have to check in with yourself first and to love yourself first. You and your partner should really have days where you just check in to see how each other is doing and see what both of you could be doing to just help one another. Relationships shouldn't add on to the baggage that college already brings. Overall, I think I've learned a lot. It was a roller coaster, and I don't like roller coasters, but that's life. There were times where I thought of transferring, but just me wanting to finish out the Spelman experience really kept me there. It was really just like the financial aspect of it. Spelman's a lot. I know scholarships aren't hard to get. Like, that's what I realized. If you're trying to get something, most likely you will get it if you try hard enough. So that's what my summer will consist of, is me actually trying towards these scholarships. Like I tell people who always ask me about scholarships and paying for Spelman, it's not something that you can deal with boom in 1 year. Like, it's definitely a semester by semester thing that you have to work out with your family, especially if you don't have it made. So yeah, we're just hoping that we can stay at Spelman as long as we can, but I'm grateful for everything that I've learned. I'm really looking forward to my second year at Spelman. I'm praying for success. I'm praying for my mental well-being, as well as everybody else in the AUC, students in general, because it's hard. Second semester taught me that it's really hard. But yes, thank you so much for watching another reflection video of mine. This channel has grown so much. I just want to thank everybody who has subscribed to me. I hope y'all have an amazing week and an amazing summer. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.